So a few days ago, I put out my mid-year update sharing all the JRPGs you can expect for the rest of 2022. And then Nintendo went ahead and dropped a fat direct full of JRPG news. And I just couldn't let it pass without making another video, so in this one we'll be talking about all the newly announced JRPGs coming to Switch as well as other platforms you can expect them on. So let's just dive on in. The first game on this list, and one that's available right now, is Little Noah Scion of Paradise. Now, to be fair, it's not really a JRPG at all, but a lot of people were excited for this one, so I wanted to mention it. Now, this is a action roguelite developed by Scion, the same developers of Grand Blue Fantasy. Now, in this game, you explore dungeons and basically see as far as you can get, and then once you die, you try again. Now, in the game, you'll have these little monsters called Lilliputs that provide your attacks, and you can equip a bunch of them and provide different attacks and kind of find the best combat style that fits you. Now, on these runs, you'll also be collecting mana, and you use this mana to upgrade Noah, their ship, which is like their home base, as well as your Lilliputs. And it seems like there is some semblance of progression each time you die. It's not like you're starting completely from fresh, at least that's what they implied in the trailers. Now, it also seems like the main character Noah has different forms with different special attacks, so I'm not sure how you unlock those, probably through exploring the game and defeating bosses, but those forms look really cool as well. Now, the game's only $15, so I'm not sure how much content there is. It's probably all predicated on replaying it over and over again, but it does look charming and fun, and I think I'm going to review it, so if you haven't picked it up already, definitely keep an eye out for that review. RPG Time: The Legend of Wright is a charming indie RPG with a handcrafted art style. You have everything from pencil drawings, paper craft, and more. Now, in the game, Kenta is a little kid and he wants to become a game developer, so he draws out his adventure of Wright, who's trying to save this princess from the Demon King. Now, the way the game plays out is it's sort of supposed to be a blend of his imagination and his notebook as well as real life props. So in the gameplay, there will be a unique mix of Kenta's drawings with real life objects and having them meld in really cool ways. Weirdly enough, the one console it's available for right now is Xbox, but it will be coming to Switch, PS4, and PC later this year. The hit action RPG NieR Automata finally makes its way to Nintendo Switch. For the uninitiated, in this game you play as androids 2B, 9S, and A2 on their journeys to defend Earth and find meaning in their own existence. And what's interesting is just when you think the game's over, you still have several more playthroughs to go to experience the full story. And to me, what really propelled Automata above its predecessor was the excellent combat system thanks to the action game masters at Platinum Games. Battles have a blistering pace to them with how fast you move around the battlefield and the variety of abilities you can perform. And also, in my opinion, it has one of the best gaming soundtracks ever. Composer Keiji Okabe really flexed his range with Automata with intense battle musics and somber tones that can only be described as otherworldly. Now, the Switch version will include all previous DLC as well as costumes exclusive to the Switch version. Hopefully it runs well on Switch, we'll have to wait and see when it releases, but it's great that more players get access to this excellent game. I've already talked about Persona 5 ad nauseum, so if you're not familiar with that game, do a quick Google search, but it's finally coming to Nintendo Switch. It's really weird after waiting for all these years, it feels like the end of an era, and I saw a lot of people typing those comments all over the internet. From Joker being the first DLC character in Super Smash Bros., it feels like we've finally come full circle with this Switch port. Now, to be honest with you, I'm kind of torn between the performance and convenience of the PlayStation 5 version, the mods of the PC version, or the portability of this Switch version. But trying to decide which version of a masterpiece to replay is kind of a good problem to have. Now, speaking of Persona, Persona 3 Portable and Persona 4 Golden will also be coming to Nintendo Switch. Now, just to be clear, these aren't coming bundled as far as I know, I just thought I'd include these together. Now, for the uninitiated, in Persona 4, you are a kid sent to live with your uncle in the boonies. But it turns out there's a serial killer going around, so you'll have to solve this murder mystery with your friends. It has a super engrossing story and an amazing cast of characters, personally my favorite in any video game. And it's great to finally see it coming to Nintendo Switch. And also coming is Persona 3 Portable. Now in this game, you'll join Cease, the investigation team that investigates the Dark Hour, kind of this time between days. And in that hour, there's all kinds of strange monsters and weird happenings going on all over town. This is easily the darkest of the modern Persona games, but it's also the one that established this new formula of it being exclusively in a high school with a social link elements. Now, this is also the only modern Persona game where you get to play as a female as the main character, so that is a really cool option to have. Now, I will warn people out there, the portable version is a little bit gimped compared to Persona 4 because basically when you're walking around town, it's just a dot on menus. It's not your character running around. So unless they merge the two versions, which is possible, you're gonna have to get used to basically just looking at menus. Either way, it's really cool to see these two PS2 classics come to more hardware. One of the more unexpected surprises of this direct was Harvestella. Now this is a farming life sim RPG from Square Enix. Basically it looks like if Rune Factory had a big budget. And honestly, the action combat looks fantastic. It doesn't just look tolerable like it does in Rune Factory and other games in this genre. It also has a gorgeous art style, everything from the environments as they change over the seasons to the different character portraits. It all just looks fantastic. We've seen so many indie studios making these types of games, so it's really interesting to see a big publisher like Square Enix throwing their hat in the ring. What they've shown in this short trailer looks absolutely incredible, and I'm really excited to play later this year. Dragon Quest Treasures was previously announced, but they didn't show a lot of footage at the time, and we have gone a long time without information, so it was great to get more details. Now in this game, you do have the ability to recruit new monsters, not only to aid you in battle, but also in exploration. You'll use them as mounts to run faster, bounce pads to get up higher, and as gliders to fly across fields. Now the game loop isn't super clear, but from what this trailer showed, it seemed like you'll set out to try to find treasures, sell them, upgrade your base, and then rinse and repeat. And honestly, I kind of like this more simple game loop. It seems fun and chill. Not everything needs to be an epic adventure. I'm excited to check out Dragon Quest Treasures later this year. One welcome surprise that a lot of people have been asking for was the Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection. Now in this collection, you'll have access to all 10 Mega Man Battle Network games. And as far as I understand, it's kind of like Pokemon where it's like 2 versions of the same game, but either way, it's 10 games in total. Now some new things in this collection will be an HD filter that you can turn on and off, illustrations, concept art, as well as a giant music catalog that you can sift through. Now for those that have never played these games before, like myself, here's kind of the general premise. It isn't just about Mega Man. You play as a 5th grader named Lon Hikari, and Megaman.exe is his net navi, or internet navigator, a program that helps LAN navigate cyberspace. Now Mega Man is used to fight off cyber criminals and viruses within cyberspace. So the gameplay is a mix of traditional JRPG exploration as LAN as you navigate the world, as well as exploring dungeons and fighting in combat with Mega Man in cyberspace. Now in these dungeons, Mega Man gets into fights in real-time grid-based combat. It's very unique and looks very fun. Now there seems to also be an element of deck building with chips that you'll acquire throughout the game that will pop up and give you new abilities in the middle of combat. It does seem like an odd mix of gameplay, but these games seem to be very beloved, so I'm really excited to try this series out for the first time when this collection launches in 2023. Now, if you missed my recent video looking at 25 more JRPGs you can play in 2022, be sure to check it out right here. And if you love JRPGs and you haven't already, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.